everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Kim and this is my YouTube channel, my PhD, my Prison History Diploma. The goal of this channel is to bring education and awareness to people that have not ever been incarcerated, what it looks like for somebody who has been incarcerated to gain their footing in society. And this channel is also here to support formerly incarcerated people. The goal is to open awareness and education so formerly incarcerated people can gain employment upon their release. With that being said, I do want to give a shout out. There is a gentleman, Andre Perret, and I hope I'm saying his name right, but he has ConConnect.com. His vision is beautiful. It is definitely a spiritual vision. I believe that when we get these visions and we help other people, that is a vision from a higher power. So I do want to give out a shout out to him. Again, the website is ConConnect.com. I strongly recommend jumping on that site and checking it out. With that being said, I'm going to tell you what it was like for me when I went to work release. A lot of people don't know that formerly incarcerated people actually, a limited few get selected to go what's called, in this state that I was in, a work release center. So what a work release center is for an incarcerated person to have that opportunity where they're still incarcerated, but it doesn't have the razor wire fence or anything like that. And what we're able to do is work in the free world. So it's almost like acclimating slowly to the free world. And that is something that I was so grateful to be able to be a part of. So what it looked like for me, I never forget that I got called during my incarceration into this panel situation where the major was there, the head of classification, and my classification officer. And they called me into this room and they said, hey, we approved you to go to work release. And I remember I was dancing and I remember the major saying, stop doing that. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, this is a concern for me because you can't control yourself dancing. And I wasn't dancing lewd, by the way, but I was just so excited I couldn't stop my feet from doing the do, you know? And I had to bring that in pause and just, you know, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, I couldn't show the excitement that I felt, but I could feel it. I could feel it. So they couldn't take the way I felt. I just couldn't physically portray it. So about 2 weeks later, I got awakened by a correctional officer and said, pack it up, you're going to work release. So I thought, okay, well, great. I probably won't be shackled and cut, you know, the black box that you got to wear. And yeah, you get black box and shackled still going to work release, which is fine. So we pull up to the drive is a beautiful drive because I knew that I was about to be able to experience something that I had not experienced in about 9 years. And that is the free world. And so we pull up to this work release center and they unshackle me and uncuff me and they walk me up into this work release center and they take over from there. And they show me where my room is at. And I remember walking in there and I saw people wearing free world clothes, yet they were incarcerated. And I thought, oh my gosh, I get to get free world clothes. I was so excited. I could not wait to put on a pair of jeans. And at this particular work release center, we actually got a $50 or $75 voucher for Goodwill, which was like literally 10 feet away. So it was super exciting. And we got an hour to go to Goodwill to use that voucher. And I can tell you right now, I sucked up that whole hour. It was like very slow process for me to find the perfect outfits. I needed color, I needed jeans, and it was an exciting day for me. But something I will tell you that kind of just blew my mind is I noticed at the Goodwill where I was shopping, a lot of people had mobile devices. What? I mean, everybody can have a mobile device because I went in in uh, early 96, and that was not the case then. So for me to see how much the world changed from a technology perspective, it was intense. It was like, what? Um, so at the Work Release Center, what you do is you're able to go look for jobs in the free world. So most of the people that were in the Work Release Center, and it was 10 to a room, by the way, most of the people that were at the Work Release Center, they were a server of some sort. So I thought, I'm gonna have to go be a server, right? So I would apply to be a server, and it just did not match my personality. I mean, I eat, of course, but I'm not a fan of like bringing food. I'm not a big fan of kitchen stuff. I worked in the kitchen for a hot minute during my incarceration, hated every minute of it. So I'm like, I really don't want to be a server, but this is what everybody's doing. And, you know, I have a higher power that loves me. I choose to call that higher power God. And I tell you, there's a lot of God shots in my life. And I met this girl who was leaving in like 2 days, and she worked for a boat trailer company. And most of my incarceration was involved in maintenance. So like I did re-roofs, tear-offs and re-roofing. I did anything from electricity changing ballast. I mean, I just had a plethora of information in regards to anything that had to do with maintenance. I love to work with my hands. I love power tools. It was just fun to me. So she told me, hey, I worked for this boat trailer place. I'm about to leave in 2 days. And her and I never really chatted before. And she's like, the job's going to be coming open. So in 2 days, she was leaving. I told her bye, hugged her, and got on a bus. It took 3 buses for me to get to that particular place. And I went in and I told them that I'm looking for a job. They escorted me upstairs to see the human resources lady, and she turned out to be one of the most beautiful flesh angels you could ever meet. She was amazing. And actually, she's the one that told me, Kim, you're not wearing a sign on your head that said that you've been to prison. You don't have to tell everybody. She gave me that advice. But as you know, she hired me. It was amazing. I was so excited. And my job description was to put the wiring in the boat trailers for the lights. And so this particular place, they built trailers from frame up. So I'm doing the wiring. It's really simple. And I'm like, ugh, I'm bored. So I found somebody. Now this place had a huge yard, huge. And I mean, they were just pumping out the boat trailers. And I thought, man, I can't just do this wiring. Like, that's not my MO. So I went up to somebody and I said, would you please teach me how to build a boat trailer? And that guy was amazing. His name was Travis, and he gave me a hand up and he said, yep, I'm going to show you how to read the blueprints, and I'm going to put you on it, and you're going to tell me the measurements that you come out, you know, because it's got to be a measurement from the oh goodness gracious, I can't remember. Anyway, the bows and the fenders and everything had to be a perfect measurement. And so he taught me how to read the blueprints. He taught me how to do the measurements, and we went to work. And I remember my first time drilling into galvanized aluminum metal with a 1.5-inch drill bit. And if anybody's worked with an 1.5-inch drill bit in galvanized metal, I can tell you right now, it's got a kick to it if you're not careful or strong. And I remember my first time drilling into that metal with that 1.5-inch drill bit. It kicked, and it actually smacked me in the jaw. It hurt so bad, but I was like, keep it going. Keep it going. Don't let them see that you're hurting. Oh my God, it was so painful. But I was like, nope, I'm going to be good at this. And, you know, within, I would say, about 1.5 months, 2 months, I was able to build a boat trailer from frame up. It was a beautiful experience. And then from there, I started doing the parts. So like any parts that were under, or any trailers that were under warranty, it was my job to go find the parts that they needed and send it to the person via UPS. It had a whole system and labeling. The fun time, and I mean this with all due respect, was finding the parts on the yard. Oh my gosh, the yard was huge. But I can tell you, I am a determined person, and I was going to find every little tiny bolt or whatever that person that had the warranty and needed that part. I was making it happen, and I was determined, and I learned where all the parts were at on this huge yard of this boat trailer place. And I did really great. And something I want to say is work release is probably by far one of the greatest things that incarceration Department of Corrections can offer to a person that's been incarcerated. It gives them that ability to adjust a little bit more to society. Like I said, it took me 3 buses to get there, so I would have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning. My first bus left at 5:30 a.m., and then I would arrive somewhere else, I think by like 6:30 to the next bus stop, and then the next bus stop got me to my final destination, which was about a mile walk from the bus stop to get to the boat trailer place. So, you know, during that time when I was riding the bus, I was able to check out what free world people were doing. So one thing that I noticed again is that everybody has cell phones, and it just blew my mind. You know, people told me about, you know, how fast the internet is and the connections, and I knew I had a lot to learn. And the good news is that I didn't let myself get overwhelmed. I thought, you know, and I say this to myself all the time, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So and I still do this quite often in my life today, but I just lived in the moment. I just lived in the moment, and I loved the moment. And anything that I do it with great joy and great passion. You know, I've said it before in my videos, anybody that gives a girl like me employment, it's a hand up to me. And I work so hard for anybody that reaches out and says, come on and work for us. I'm not only going to work for you, but I'm going to double, triple time it because I'm just so grateful. It was an interesting, I was at work release for about a year, and that gave me time. So the work release center actually takes 60% of your paycheck. So that's, you know, it's the price you pay, right? And for me, giving 60% of my paycheck was absolutely worth it. I really didn't, I mean, I cared about the money. I knew I needed it. But the most importantly, I needed the experience, and I needed to be able to adjust to the free world. And that's what work release did for me. Now, here's the not so good news. Work release is limited in space. So think about that. It doesn't have enough space to allow, you know, I would say, you know, I don't want to guess, but at my work release center, there was probably 400 to 500 people. But you think about how many people were incarcerated in the state that I was incarcerated in, that number is tiny in comparison to how many people need work release. I think work release is one of the best things that a facility can give to an incarcerated person, and there's just not enough of it. And we pay our way in work release. Like I told you, I gave 60% of my check to the work release center. I don't know where that money went. I don't really care. But the problem is that there's so many prisons, a ton, and there's only very few work release centers. That is insane to me. Insane to me that Department of Corrections knows that these people are eventually going to get out, and they don't line it up for every person when it should be they should line it up. You know, I mean, yes, it's my fault that I got incarcerated, and I take full responsibility for that. However, people do get out, and there needs to be some sort of paved way for adjustment. When you get out of prison in the state that I was in, if you don't have any money in your account, they give you $100 and a bus ticket and say, good luck. That's not a great beginning. It's a very tough beginning. So I want to bring awareness to society that the beginning that formerly incarcerated people get is very slim to none. You have to make a way out of no way. And Work Release Center, there needs to be more work release centers built, and dial back on building these prisons. Build in people, meaning if you're called Department of Corrections, teach people how to correct their behavior. That means recovery programs, work release programs, faith-based programs. And that is starting to happen more and more to this day. But me, as a formerly incarcerated person, I have a bird's eye view, and that's why I want us as a community to take charge of the change. Because if we don't start with our tribe and ourselves and teaching people how we did it, we're going to leave some soldiers fallen. And that's not what I want to do. Today, I want to reach in and pull my fellow soldiers out and give them the chance that they deserve. I've said it before in my videos. People have had some really traumatic pasts that in their childhood that led them to a place where they became addicted to drugs or alcohol. So with that being said, one thing I do want to state is if you've been incarcerated before and you're looking for something to help you get involved, there is a ConConnect.com program out there. Look it up on Google. Shout out to them. It's a beautiful 501c3 nonprofit foundation, ConConnect.com. I strongly recommend any formerly incarcerated person to jump on there, take a look. They are connecting formerly incarcerated people to businesses that will hire them. So thank you so much to you guys. And that's it for this video. Like I said, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. And just keep in mind that we can do this together as a team and as a community. It's time to take charge of the change. I love all of you. Thank you so much for your time, and have a very happy day.